What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about how one of the Boston fans threw a bottle at Kyrie Irving. So let's see what they have to say about that.
How does the league handle this? How do we as the media handle this moving forward?
You got to make sure you press charges against these fans and make sure these fans know that if you do something crazy like that, you will get in trouble.
First of all, I love the fact that the kid was arrested. I hope he's still in jail. I don't know if they took him to jail, but if they didn't, they should have. And if he was taken, he should still be there. That's number one. Number two, I love the fact that we all saw him on camera. I think that shame and humiliation is an important deterrent because a lot of times people are emboldened because they get to hide. And when you show that everything's going to be brought to light, then that serves as a potential deterrent. Number three, in the interest of fairness, I also think that's important because we all know that the players, the athletes themselves, they would be in this position. They would be put front and center, and their faces would be treated like mugshots if they were to engage in any kind of insidious behavior. And so I love that. But the NBA, as I said last week, everybody needs to be on alert. Now, the racism and all of that stuff that Kyrie alluded to. I also want to point out there's a whole bunch of people in that crowd that pointed out the kid who threw that bottle. Okay? So I think that's incredibly important to point out. That it wasn't people turning a blind eye and a deaf ear. They were like, oh no, that was him. And everybody pointed that kid out. And it was a beautiful thing that they did that because that's incredibly important, particularly with Boston and its history to some degree, which is what Kyrie Irving alluded to. Having said all of that, let's take this a step further because as I said last week, Max, it's not just about the fact that George Floyd was murdered by Derek Chauvin, the cop in Minneapolis, and then there was social justice issues and protests and initiatives that were taking place. You had a whole bunch of people that were stuck home, like Kevin Durant alluded to. And they've been waiting to get at these players. They've been waiting to get at them. I don't believe they came to the court, even though Kyrie, you could say it was classless or whatever, he stepped on the leprechaun at mid-court and all of this other stuff. I don't believe for 1 second that things like that prompt somebody to do the kind of stuff that we saw.
Here's that incident you just alluded to where he's stepping on the leprechaun.
I don't believe that's what did it. I believe you've got folks who come to these games and they have an agenda. They know exactly what they want to do ahead of time.
You just have scumbag fans up there that just want to throw a bottle at him. I don't think it's any more or any less.
Really do, particularly with these players. Now, at some point in time, white America is going to have to wake up and stop trying to act like racism is a thing of the past. It's not. It's present. And in my estimation, the reason why I'm able to be cool and calm about it is because I'm not apologizing for saying this. I know there's a bunch of racists out there. I know they've been out there. I know they are out there. And I know they're going to be out there. I don't give a damn what y'all say at all. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying most.
Of course not.
But there are a lot of folks out there who happen to be white that really, really, really have a problem with black people, particularly black athletes, being in those positions. And anytime they get an opportunity to express their venom and vitriol and hostility, they're going to take it. Doesn't surprise me. I'm not shocked. Of course, it's disappointing, but it is what it is. Trae Young gets spit on. John Morant's family, okay? Of course, you got Kyrie Irving, all right? These are the kind of things that we're talking about here. White men coming at black men and in a secure, insulated environment where you don't have to worry about direct retaliation, and Russell Westbrook, of course, because you know they're going to be restrained. That's what's going on. We understand it. Don't be surprised by it. It's incredibly disappointing. The leagues, the media, and everybody else is just going to have to stand up and say, we know who the hell you are. We know what you are. We're not surprised by it. You'll be dealt with. That's what you do.
Yeah, so this is really getting out of control with the fans. Like you said, Trae Young was spit on. Russell Westbrook, had an incident with someone threw popcorn on him. And now you have Kyrie Irving having a bottle thrown at him. That's exactly why they don't sell glass bottles at these games, because fans get drunk and then want to throw bottles. And also you don't want to have a bottle fight, broken bottle fight. That would be terrible. And like I said, that's why they have plastic bottles at these games. I'm glad the guy got caught. I'm glad he was charged. Definitely, these fans are getting out of control. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen is these fans are going to mess it up for everybody else, and fans aren't going to be able to get close to players anymore. At basketball games, you can get right up on the court, but let this type of stuff keep on happening, and eventually the fans are going to be 20, 30, 40 feet away from court. There's not going to be courtside seats anymore. The fans aren't going to be able to get close to the players anymore because of boneheads like this that like to throw bottles and throw popcorn and, do all types of other things. They're going to ruin it for the fans that sit there and just, enjoy the game. But I don't know. I'm just glad the guy's caught. I'm glad he's been charged, and they definitely need to put his face up on the TV.
I'm not convinced that maybe Kyrie doing that on the on the logo maybe did inflame things more. It's obviously not.
Yeah, that probably did inflame things, but that doesn't warrant getting a bottle thrown at your head. And again, that's exactly why they don't have glass bottles at these games for things like that.
An excuse to throw something at a player, leave the guy who's wearing a Garnett jersey, right? Like
Yes,
Garnett was a dude who gave everything to the organization, the whole Celtic pride thing and everything. And Kyrie, maybe they felt like, no, he didn't. He said he wasn't going to leave. Then he bounced, and then he comes back and disrespects the logo. That is not an excuse. But did that precipitate it? Did they have it? Was it premeditated?
Yeah, but we also know as Boston fans can get kind of rowdy, and it doesn't matter if you play for the team or not. Because remember when Paul Pierce got stabbed by a couple fans, I think it was, he was out someplace, and a couple Boston fans stabbed him. It's like, that's your own guy. Why would you stab your own guy for your own team? But I don't know.
I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. I do know this, Stephen A. To me, this is something new. You could say, well, it's like a continuation, but to me, it's something new. I'll tell you why. Because everyone saw it led TV shows. We talked about it on this show a lot. What happened when a fan spat, when a fan threw popcorn? What happened? Indefinite ban. And people can say, well, it's not a lifetime ban. What's the difference? A lifetime ban can be lifted. Yes. This is like an indefinite ban. Like, you ain't coming, like, until further notice, you're out of here.
And I just want to know, what does that indefinite ban do? How are they going to stop him from coming in? Are they going to take his picture, and then his picture is going to be posted at every game, at every entrance, and people on the checkers are going to have to compare, like, oh, is this that guy? Is this that guy? Is that, no, that's not him? How are they going to be able to tell whether or not if that guy comes back? I mean, is he going to do user ID? I haven't been in a basketball game in a while, or even in Boston, so I don't know how they're going to be able to enforce his lifetime ban.
The fans saw that and did it anyway. That bothers me. Because to me, that is something new. It's like, consequences be damned. Why? He doesn't want to get caught. But if I do get caught, whatever. This is worth it. I think what KD said was so excellent. And it's not even what we showed. Here's the quote. Have some respect for the human beings. He said, we're not in a circus. And have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing water bottles at basketball players, or spitting on players, or tossing popcorn. So grow the expletive up and enjoy the game. It's bigger than you. But, right, have some respect for yourself. I always say, we talk about this sometimes, Stephen A. You're like, well, you can't say that. It's not a good reflection on the people who raised you when you behave that way.
Yeah, but for all we know, his mother may have taught him to throw bottles at those players. And another thing, he might have been drunk. All the self-respect, all that goes out the window once you've had a six-pack. So, that's really, that's not really a talking point right there.
It's a bad reflection. And I'm torn about showing people, because I don't like shame generally used to teach behavior. But on the one hand, if you show them, it is disgraceful. On the other, maybe some people think they get some clout from doing that. Like in baseball games, remember once upon a time, guys would jump out on the field and do all kinds of wild stuff, and the cameras always show them like a sideshow. And after a while, they realized this encourages copycat behavior. So what did they start doing? They wouldn't show it.